Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. How are you?
Good, how are you?
It's always good to come back. When we watch the show, there's always, I don't know if it still exists. There's always a site that says, okay, who's on deck to be killed and how would they be killed? So the question is, the odds are, who's left? Who's left of the show? There's always going to be somebody that has to go at some point. Hopefully, it's not you, but we never know. So what's the joy coming back? Season 3. What are we going to get from your character?
Um, Season 3 for my character is a lot. She goes through a lot this season. And yeah, who knows who's going to go this season? There's a lot that happens.
Throughout this whole time that you've been on the show, there's a lot. I always tell, and I was just talking to Tony Danza, actors can never stop learning. What have you learned from the time you've been on the show, whether it's from working with co-actors and your directors? What are you picking up that helps you out moving forward, whether it's on this show or the next episode or another series you may do or another project?
hmm I've learned how to stay up all night with all these all-nighters that we film with. I've learned at what point I need to drink coffee and win to keep me awake enough to be able to finish the scene and not too awake that I don't shake violently, not too caffeinated so I don't shake violently while we're filming. But in all seriousness, I've learned to be very grateful. We have a very grateful cast. I've learned to be, from Shannon, playing Shannon, I've learned to be strong and put my foot down and say no when I think something is wrong instead of just falling over. And so, yeah. But mostly the
Shannon has this passion just to pursue justice wherever it may lead her, and sometimes that could hurt her. Why do you think so? What's driving her to keep going on to try to solve something when it's kind of none of her business?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's for just the righteous path of justice. I think it's her really trying to prove herself. Everyone says, no, she needs to let things go. But this is her opportunity to prove that she's been right, that she's not crazy. And when people tell you you're crazy, you need to drop it, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, anyone would say, I need to show you that I'm right. So I think it's about her pursuit of being right versus her pursuit of just justice for the sake of justice.
And then there's also, her emotional relationship with Jukebox. Like she feels a need to somehow take care of her somehow. There's one end where she's trying to, solve a riddle. And then there's the other one like, okay, I'll look out for you as much as I can. Where does that come from?
I think she sees a little bit of herself in Jukebox. She sees someone who's young and struggling with their sexuality, and she wants to help Jukebox navigate that. She wants to help her through a time and she's also dealing with her sexuality and who knows about it, how to handle it. So I think she's trying to help Jukebox and in some way maybe help herself through that.
Because when you think about it, we're talking 90s. It's not now where things are a little bit more out in the open. So back then you really couldn't do much, So that goes into, the time frame of all this has to be in effect that people are really watching this to say, oh, she couldn't do it back then.
Yeah, it was the time of special friends, and it's amazing how far we've come since then. And I think that's why it's so great that they're exploring relationships like this back in the 90s, because so many people experienced trying to hide who they were, and so I think it's great that they have it in the show.
Congrats on the road. I'm sure we'll see you next, whatever it may be. Take care.
Thank you, Wilson.